B-E-N-E. The meaning of the root word Benny is something that is well, okay? So we have words like benefit, benevolent, and rest of the words you can figure it out. On the other hand, the opposite of Benny is mela or mele, malicious, malevolent. This means not well, something that is not well, okay? Hello everyone, my name is Vaishnavi and welcome to today's session on SSC CGL Tier 1 mock test that we took last week, okay? So we are going to start with the questions and then discuss the questions and take up if there is any questions or you have any doubts. Alright, so without further delay, let's start the session. Okay. So the first question that we are going to talk about is on, you have to find errors in the given sentence. Again, the sentences have been divided into 4 parts, fourth part being no error, okay? So the first statement looks pretty easy. They have a statement A, they have played a game last week, okay? So is there any error in this statement? They have played a game last week, okay? Now we are talking about last week. So the tense that we are supposed to use for last week has to be past tense. But in this statement, we said that they have played a game, which is absolutely wrong. So we know the error is in part A, because with last week, when it is talking about past tense, then we use the past form of have is had, okay? So the error is in part A. It will be option number 1. The error is in part A. So if you have not noticed it yet, most of the error spotting questions, be it error spotting questions or if you have to make an improvement in a sentence improvement questions, the errors are usually to do with 2 things. Either it is subject-verb agreement or it is tenses. So you have to be very, very thorough with your tenses as well as your subject-verb agreement, okay? If you're not, then please go back to the videos that we already have and refresh your memories, okay? So let's go on to the next question. Alright, the next question is, Sudoku was first designed in the 1970s, this is option A, by a retired architect and freelance puzzle constructor, okay? Now, Sudoku was first designed, okay? So let's check if the tense is right, because usually it has to do with the tense. So Sudoku was first designed in the 1970s, which is absolutely fine. No error. It is all in the same tense, that is past tense. By a retired architect, again, completely fine. And freelance puzzle constructor. So this statement is also fine. I do not think there is any error. So in this question, there is no error. Pretty simple, not very complicated. So the entire sentence has to be, or the entire statement has to be in the same tense, okay? So the answer is no error, as all of you are saying yes, it will be no error. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Now here you have to pick out the most efficient word from the given words to fill in the blanks to make the sentence meaningfully complete. So you have got the options. The ship waited till the storm dash before sailing out to the sea. Okay. So the ship waited till the storm dash before sailing out to the sea. So usually when sailors they sail, they cannot sail when the wind or when the breeze is heavy, and they wait for it to calm down, right? They do not wait for it to increase, or the storm to increase. They wait for it to mellow down, right? So let's look at the options. It cannot be evaporated, because you know what is evaporated. It usually happens to liquid when heat is provided to it. So what happens is it changes into the gaseous state. Okay, so it is not evaporation. We are not dealing with evaporation. Consolidated. What is the meaning of the word consolidated? If you guys can start giving me examples of or the meaning of the word consolidated, it would be great. Okay, till then I will tell you what is the meaning. You have to give me sentence on it. Okay, so the meaning of the word consolidate is make something physically stronger or more solid. Stronger or solid. Okay, this is one meaning. The other meaning of consolidate is to combine. Sentence like I asked my manager to give me few more days or a couple of more days to consolidate the entire report. Okay, so it means to combine. Yes, so it cannot be, storm cannot be combined. Okay, so this is definitely option number 2 is not the answer. Abated and normalize. You understand what is the meaning of normal? Normalized means it is same as normal, bring back something to a normal state. Okay, now you cannot bring back a storm to its normal state. The normal state of a storm is storm. Okay, so it cannot be normalized. So last option that we have is option number 3, which is abated. The meaning of the word abated is become less intense. Okay, become less intense, and the synonyms can be moderate, subside, then lessen. All these are the synonyms of abated. Okay, so the right answer will be abated and not the other options. Okay, it means something calm something down, or become less intense. Okay, something becoming less intense. All right, and which part of speech is abated? If you guys can tell me that, since we are using the ed form, abated, that means it has to be a verb. All right, so abated is nothing but a verb. Okay, so I hope this one is clear. If so, the right answer is option number 3. The ship waited till the storm abated before sailing out to sea. All right, let's go on to the next question now, if this one is clear to all of you. So the options were pretty obvious that the other options were not going well with the of blank. The only 2 options that we had a little bit confusion in is normalize and abated. So you know the meaning of normalize, and that's why abated is the right answer for it. Okay, all right, let's go on to the next question. I agree dash your proposal but not dash your friend on all issues. Okay, so usually agree, we are talking about preposition here, the usage of preposition. So with agree, which preposition do we use? Yes, we use both with as well as agree to. Now when do we use? The usage changes. Okay, so when do we use agree with? When you agree with people. Okay, usually you agree with people and you agree to proposals. All right, so very clearly given. There is no a lot of fuss about it. So I agree here, since we are talking about proposal, your proposal, so we will use the preposition to and but not dash your friend. So we are talking about a person, so we will use with. Okay, so the right combination would be to and with. So I agree to your proposal but not with your friend on all issues. Yes, you agree to something and you agree with someone. Very nicely said. Agree to something, yes, and you agree to someone. So I think this was also very clear. There are few prepositions that you need to remember, that these are the prepositions that go well with this, or they are used in a certain manner. For example, acquaintance, acquainted to, acquaintance with. So the preposition changes according to the usage of the word as well. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let's go on to the next question. Okay, I think this question, if you remember, we have already discussed this question. I think the second week, the previous mock test that we discussed on SSC, and this has to do with the order of adjective, and I don't think I need to repeat it again. So you know the right answer. It should not be wooden broken chair. The order should be broken wooden chair. So the right answer is option number 2. Yes. All of you, I hope you did not make any error in this this question, because it was already discussed. Yes, alright. Yes, and I gave you a long list of adjectives where you were supposed to, I gave you which comes after what, alright. The qualities, which quality first, what comes, and we discussed it already. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. I don't think there is much to discuss in this. Let's go on. Okay. So the question is, you have come here with a view to insult me. Now, view to insult, okay, with a view to. This is a phrase. And what is the meaning of this phrase? Is this the right usage of the phrase? So usually when you use with a view to, it means when you come with a view to, it is you have considered something and you have come with that consideration. Okay, so considering something or considered something, alright, is the meaning of it. Or taking into account is also. So this is the meaning of with a view to. Now usually when we are writing with a view to, this phrase with a view to, the verb that we will be using after that will always be in the ing form. Okay, yes, there is another word, we can replace to with for as well, with a view, of as well, but there ing is not used. Okay, so when we are using with a view to, and the option that is underlined is insult me. Okay, so you have to make changes in this part of the statement. So that's why we will be changing it to with a view to insulting me. So the right answer is option number 1. I hope you guys got it. It is a little confusing. So with a view to we also use, and with a view of is also another word. Okay, now another phrase. With a view to, usually the verb that follows after that is in the ing form, in the continuous form. Okay, on the other hand, when we are using with a view of, then we use the simple form of verb. Okay, the present form of verb. There is no ing. So remember the underline, see the underline where it has asked for improvement, and then work accordingly. Okay, so this is a little tricky question. Okay, all right, let's go on to the next question. So in the questions given below, out of the 4 alternatives, choose the one which can be substituted for the given words sentences. Okay, so this is one word substitution, where you have been given a definition of a word and you are supposed to give the one word for it. Okay, all right, so let's see the options. The first one: a person who is trying to escape being arrested, okay, by the police. Okay, so the options that we have is refugee, fugitive, on the run, escapist. Now you understand who is a refugee, right? A refugee, who is a refugee? A refugee is a person who is forced to leave his country or his nation because of very unfortunate events that has happened in his country. It can be war, it can be natural disaster, it can be any of it. Okay, so they go and take refuge or shelter in another country. So a person who is trying to escape being arrested by the police cannot be a refugee, because they escape their nation because of a certain type of unfortunate event. Okay, so it cannot be refugee. Let's look at the next option. The next option is fugitive. Fugitive, what is the meaning of fugitive? It is a noun, and the meaning of the word fugitive is a person who has escaped from captivity. A person who's captured and he has escaped the captivity. Oh, sorry. Or someone who is hiding. Okay, so yes, this looks like a promising option that can be considered. Then we have the third option, on the run. Okay, what is the meaning of on the run? We must have heard it in the news that the fugitive is on the run. Okay, so it is a phrase which means a person who is avoiding to be seen or being caught. Okay, so a person who does not want to be caught is on the run. Okay, so fugitive is more apt in this situation, but because a person, it is trying to escape being arrested. Okay, and who has escaped from captivity and hiding. So again, let's just consider on the run as well. So the meaning that I said was trying to avoid being captured. And what is the meaning of escapist? Escapist is a person, again it is a noun, this one is very interesting. A person who seeks distraction and relief from unpleasant realities. Okay, so someone who's trying to escape reality, and it is usually or especially in the form of entertainment. Okay, Okay, so the sentence that I can give you for escapist, you understood the meaning of escapist, right? Someone who is trying to escape reality because it might be something very unfortunate might have happened with him. So he's trying to escape that reality, and it is usually done with the help of entertainment or to bring in a lot of entertainment in his life. Okay, so I can give you an example of escapist. Tomorrowland, I don't know how many of you know about Tomorrowland, but it's a very nice concert. Okay, so Tomorrowland is a escapist's paradise. Okay, so because there is a lot of entertainment, the whole concert goes on for hours and hours together and for days together. Okay, so that would be the right sentence on escapist. So it cannot be escapist. So the right answer, I'm sure you all have figured it out till now, by now, that the right answer is fugitive. Okay, so a person who is trying to escape being arrested by the police is a fugitive. Alright, if it is clear till here, let's go on to the next question. Yes, a person who is blamed for the wrongdoing of others. Okay, so someone who is blamed for something that he has not done. Okay, bursar. Who is a bursar? Again, a bursar is a person who manages finance of school or college. Okay, so it cannot be a bursar because a bursar has to do with managing finance of school and colleges. So definitely not a person who's being blamed for the wrongdoing of others. Okay, so let's look at the next option. Captor. Who is a captor? A person who catches is the captor. Okay, so jailer, guard, all these are the synonyms of captor. So again, captor is not someone who's blamed for the wrongdoing of the captive. Okay, phlegmatic. Okay, what is the meaning of phlegmatic? It is a person having important word. This is emotional and stolidly calm. The meaning of the word stolid again is showing little emotion. Okay, so emotionless calm. A person who is emotionless calm, emotionally very calm, has no emotion at all, and they show this kind of disposition. And what is the meaning of disposition? Disposition or temperament. I'm sure you know the meaning of these two words by now. Both has to do with characteristics or behavior of a person. Alright, so bursar and phlegmatic are not the right option. Yes, in simple words, phlegmatic person is a person who's lazy to the level where he has become emotionally completely no emotion and indifferent to emotions and is absolutely calm and lethargic. Okay, so it cannot be someone who is phlegmatic. Okay, we are still talking about someone who's blamed for others' mistake or others' wrongdoing. Okay, so let's look at the last option. Now the last option is scapegoat, and the meaning of scapegoat is exactly what is written over here, a person who is blamed for the wrongdoing of others. Now okay, so just an interesting information about scapegoat. It is derived from a biblical, it is actually a biblical term. In the Bible, a scapegoat is actually a goat, where the Jewish high priest, he puts everyone's sins and puts it on the goat, Bali ka bakra. Yes, And yes, all the sins are put on the goat, symbolically of course, not actually, and the goat is sacrificed. So yes, Hindi would be bali ka bakra, exactly, scapegoat. Alright, so in Hindi also we have something like that, yeah. Okay. So yes, a person who's blamed for the wrongdoing of others is a scapegoat. If you can make a sentence on scapegoat, it would be wonderful. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Till you guys give me, I am not seeing any sentences, guys. You are just giving me the right answers, no sentences. Muslims are refugees from Myanmar to Bangladesh. Yes, only recently came across the news about. Guys, please get into the habit of do not write short words. Get into the habit of writing the full word, like about. Please write the complete word. Do not write short forms, okay? So, because when you are actually typing in your descriptive paper, sometimes you do make mistakes and you write it in the short form because it becomes a habit. So consciously or unconsciously you make that decision of writing it that way. Alright, let's move on to the next question. Next question is the knowledge and understanding that a person has about an event only after it has happened. So we are talking about the knowledge of an incident or something that has already happened, and then the person gets to know what is happening or becomes aware of the situation, okay? So we are talking about an after situation, not a situation, not a prediction. Alright? Recently came across the news about fugitive offenders bill. Okay, again, please write about in full word. Okay, I'm reading the same one. Okay. So yes, we are talking about the knowledge and understanding that a person has about an event only after it has happened, okay? So let's look at the words. We have hindsight, we have foresee, we have foretell, and we have omen. There are two words which has fore, and this prefix is actually to do with future, okay, or before. Okay, so foresee is someone becoming aware of a situation. It can be situation or an event beforehand. That means before it happens, okay? Another word that we can use for this is anticipate. Okay? And foretell is again to predict the future. So these both of these are to do with a person understanding the event before it happens, before it occurs. Okay, so it cannot be option number 2, it cannot be option number 3. Last one is omen. Omen is you must have come across this word a lot because it is used very often to talk about an event regarded as a portent of good or evil. Okay, so since it is not sure whether it is a good thing or a bad thing, omens are usually, what we say is it is a good omen, it is a bad omen. Okay, so words like this are preceded when we talk about omen. Okay, so we have evil omen or good omen and things like that. Okay, so let's look at the last option, the first one actually. So it cannot be omen as well. Hindsight. Hindsight is the right answer, because hindsight means the knowledge and understanding that a person has about an event only after it has happened. Alright, so the right answer is option number A. Sorry, option number 1. Okay. Alright. Now let's move on to the next question. I think these type of questions are the last of it that we have. One word substitutions are very important, and they are interesting as well. So make sure that you are thorough with your one word substitution and you know the meaning of, try doing this, try grouping words into a category. Remember words in a group, okay? So when you remember words in a group, you remember a lot of words. Like today, I started the class by talking about the prefix bene. Okay, so if you remember all the words that come from that root word, you will be able to figure out, you will have a good vocabulary on each word if you do that. Okay, so we will have be talking about these words very often, okay, root words very often, so that it is easy for you to group words into different categories. Okay. Anil late due to internet issue. That's okay. You should probably make sure that the class itself started late, so you should make sure that next time onwards you know if there is an internet issue or not. Alright. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Pie in the sky. You have to what you have to do is, in the following questions, 4 alternatives are given for the meaning of the given idiom phrase. Choose the alternative which best expresses the meaning of the idiom phrase and mark the correct alternative. Okay, so there is an idiom or a phrase given to you. You have been given 4 options and you're supposed to choose which one suits the best. I think, and I remember it clearly, that we have discussed pie in the sky as well. Yes, so pie in the sky is something which is pleasant to imagine but impossible to attain. I will not be discussing this question again because we have already dealt with it. So pie in the sky, yes, already discussed. Okay, let's move on to the next question. He keeps me in the loop. Okay, now this, what is the meaning of keeping someone in the loop? Okay, so when I say that whenever I have a class, I keep my managers in the loop so that they do not disturb my classes. Okay, so sorry. So what is the meaning of that? It means keeping someone informed. Okay, so keeping someone in the loop is keeping people informed. Usually when you are sending emails to different people, when you're sending a lot of emails, what you say, instead of saying CC, that is carbon copy, you usually say keep me also in the loop, as in CC me as well. Okay, so this is another way of saying keeping someone informed. Yes, so the right answer is option number 1, keep informed. Correct. Alright, let's go on to the next question. Now from here on we have another type of question where you in each of the questions below, 4 sentences are given which are denoted by A, B, C and D. By using all the 4 sentences, you have to frame a meaningful paragraph. The correct order of the sentence is your answer. Now you are supposed to choose from the 5 alternatives the one having the correct order of the sentence and mark it as your answer on the answer sheet. So different combinations are given to you. You're supposed to mark it. This can be done very quickly. We have 2 options starting with C. So let's see if C can be the starting statement or not. At 10 p.m. when I informed. Okay, at 10 p.m. when I informed. Okay, informed whom? Informed whom? Informed him that, so this goes on to A. So we have A after that, him that I wouldn't be able after A, I wouldn't be available from what time to what time, available for what, available for the meeting. He sulked. What is the meaning of sulking? Become silent, okay? Become silent. So he sulked, and then finally what do we have? He sulked, and after that he never spoke to me. So the right order would be CA after, so you just have to look at the third one, D and then B. So the right option would be option number 4. I have already explained the meaning of sulked, Sony. Okay. It means become completely silent or turn silent. Okay, taciturn, another great word. Taciturn means becoming silent, or someone who's usually very silent. Okay. So yes, let's go on to the next question. Okay. So we have again the same type of question where you're supposed to choose the right answer. Okay. Now, much of the argument, so let's go to the options first. So two options are starting with B, so it is wise to see if B is the right answer or not. Okay. So one of the reasons that Japanese managers are perceived as making superior decisions compared to the Western managers is that they spend a great deal of effort and time determining that the problem is correctly defined. Okay, so this is, the whole talk is about, I think this is the introduction. Why? Because the whole talk is about, it is introducing the topic, how are Japanese managers different from the managers in the West. Okay, and it talks about how the Japanese look at the problem and try to find if that is the real problem or not. Okay, so you really need to understand what the passage is all about. Okay, so yes, B is the correct option. So we will strike out option number 3 and option number 4. So first we have B, and then one of the reasons that happened, okay, that the problem is correctly defined. Okay, then after that we have okay. Now here we spoke about the problem. Okay, so what is this problem that we are talking about? Where is the mention of problem again? Okay, so let's see. Up to half the time in meetings is spent in asking the real problem. Okay, so we have another talk about the problem. So B and D becomes the mandatory pair. Okay. So they are again explaining half of the time of the meeting goes on in what? It goes on in discussing whether the problem that we have, is it a real problem or not a real problem. Okay. Now, you don't even have to spend time on the next of which one will come next, because we have only one option which has B and D as the combination. Even though this happens to be the right answer, I will still go ahead and explain the rest of the which one will follow. We will discuss that, and then I will go to the next question. Okay, so up to half of the time in meetings is spent in asking, is this the real problem? Okay, then we have see, unfortunately, too often in the West, managers assume. So in the West, what do they do? This first two was talking about the Japanese manager. Okay, so they were talking about the Japanese managers. and this one talks about the managers in the West. They assume that the initial definition of the situation is correct. So whatever has been defined first, they assume that that is the correct situation. Okay, whatever has been defined, that is the correct situation. Okay, so this is the problem in the West. And finally, we have much of the argument that goes on around the alternative solution occurs because people hold different perception to the problem. These two are talking about the West. If you notice, these two are talking about the West. Okay, so in the West, much of the argument goes around the alternative solution occurs because of people hold different perception of the problem. Okay, so that is why this waste a lot of time in the West. So the right answer is option number 1. This one was again something that I'm sure all of you must have figured it out. So not much to discuss. Yes, so 2 statements were talking about the Japanese, and 2 statements were talking about the West, how the managers are in Japan and how managers are in the West. All right, let's go on to the next question. Okay, so we have all the options. This one is a little tricky because we have all the options starting from different alphabet. I'm so sorry. Okay, so let's look at it the other way. And all the option looks like the introductory statement. So we need to find out a way out. Okay, so let's quickly skim through the options. Participation involves more than the formal sharing of decision. Okay, we are talking about participation. Through anticipation, individual or organization consider trends and make plans, shielding institutions from trauma of learning by shock. Okay, so anticipation is the second thing that we have spoken about. Innovative learning involves both anticipation and participation. Okay, now this has to be the starting statement. Why? Because it talks about that innovative learning. What is innovative learning? It is about both anticipation as well as participation. Okay, and then we go ahead and talk about what is participation, how it involves participation, and how it anticipates, and through anticipation what it does. Okay, so definitely the initial statement will be option C. So the right answer will be 4. C is the introductory statement. Okay, so the right answer will be option number 4. Alright, we don't even have to consider the other options because they are starting with a different alphabet. Only one option starts with the same alphabet. Okay, so the order will be C, B, A, D. Alright. Okay, so I think the parajumbles or the parajumbles or jumble sentences are becoming. I'm sure that you guys are becoming strong at it. If there is any, you need tips on how to do how to solve these questions, you need to go back to the drawing board. I'm sorry, it's not drawing board. It is the videos. Okay, what is going back to the drawing board, by the way? It means starting something from scratch. Okay, so you need to start looking at questions on parajumbles from the videos that we already have. Okay, let's go on to the next type of questions now. So in the following passage there are blanks, each of which has been numbered. These numbers are printed below. Okay, these numbers are printed below the passage, and against each 5 words are suggested, one of which fits the blank appropriately. Find out the appropriate word in each case. So I'm sure you understood what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to, whichever option given, you're supposed to fill in that option number with a suitable word. Okay. So let's start. This one is, it's a good passage. Okay. let's talk about it. Okay. Desires and actions are often coordinated in that the desire may dash the person to action, or that desire may dash from action. Okay, so it is talking about desire and action being coordinated. So how is it coordinated? It starts from here. Coordinated in that what happens, desire may dash the person to action. So may what the person to action? It can does it dampen the person to action? What is the meaning of the word dampen? Dampen, the first meaning of the word dampen is to make something wet, by the way. So make something wet. The meaning here we can interpret is to make something less intense. Okay, so dampen cannot be the right option, because desire may dampen the person to action. No, desire has to somehow force the person to action. I think somehow that's what it is. That's what it is trying to talk about over here. Okay, so let's see the next option, hinder. What is the meaning of hinder? Hinder means to make it difficult for someone. Okay, so or cause an obstacle. Okay, so hinder is a verb and it means to make it difficult for someone to do something. Okay, so it cannot be that the desire may hinder the person to action, because it has to somehow motivate the person to action. Okay, next one is indulge. Okay, now what is the meaning of indulge? Okay, the meaning of indulge is enjoy. Okay, enjoy or take pleasure in. Okay, so that is the meaning of indulge. Now it cannot be that the person is usually for it is to do with pleasure. Okay, so we cannot, desire may indulge the person to action. It is not something that we are talking about getting into something for the pleasure of it, right? So let's look at the last option, arouse. Okay, arouse means evoke or awaken. Okay, so yes, this can be the right option, because it evokes the person to action, it awakens the person to action. Yes, so the right answer will be option number 4. Okay, so I can give you an example of the word arouse. If you guys can start making sentences after that, that would be great. So the sentence that we can have on arouse is his uncertainty about the incidents raised suspicion or aroused suspicion in the minds of the people. Okay, so because he was so uncertain about the situation, that aroused, it is the past form of arise. Okay, so it aroused. What did it arouse? It aroused suspicion. Minister hinder the work of honest person. Ministers hinder the work of honest person. Nice, good work, Chandra. Okay, if you can make sentence with arouse as well, it would be great. Okay, now let's go on to the next one, next blank. So we have done desire and action are often coordinated in that the desire may arouse the person to action, or the desire may be dash from the action. Either it arouses the person to action. So since we have an or conjunction over here, so either it arouses the person or then what else can it do? So can it be maybe expelled from action? What is the meaning of expelled? Expelled means forced to leave. Okay, so I was expelled out of college. People say this is the meaning of expelled. Okay, so it cannot be expelled. Ceased, the person to action, made dash from action. Cease from action. What is the meaning of cease? Cease means bringing something to end. Okay, bring to an end. So it cannot be that that desire ends, maybe ceased from action. It cannot end from action. Okay, abstrained, again, what is the meaning of abstain? It means restrain oneself. Okay, restrains oneself from doing something. Okay, or enjoying something. Okay, so I have abstained from drinking alcohol or any alcoholic beverages would be the right use of abstain. Okay, now the last one is inferred. It can be inferred, that means deduced or concluded. Yes, so either it can arise from the person's action, or it can be concluded from the action. Desire may be concluded from the action. So the right answer will be option number 4. Got it? Okay, so it is a little complicated passage. You need to be very, very careful. You need to understand what it is trying to say. So once you understand what is the passage all about, and you go along filling the blanks and then trying to find out the meaning of the next word and the next word and then the next word, it becomes easy. So you have to understand the meaning of the passage first. Okay? Alright, let's go to the next question. Next blank. If P, so now we are talking about, we have taken an example where we have named two people, P and X. Okay, no, we have named a person P. Okay, so if P is seen as trying to do X, okay, this is talking about a work, okay, or if P is seen trying to do X, okay, so we have assumed that P is trying to do X. It is often inferred that P desires X. Okay, so if P is trying to do X, it is often inferred that P desires X. So if a person P is trying to do X, it means that the person desires that work. Okay, however, that means a contradictory statement is going to come here. Desires and actions are not dash coordinated. So we spoke about often coordinated, not dash coordinated. So it should be something which is not always true, right? So is it invariably coordinated, hopefully coordinated, deliberately coordinated, or purposely coordinated? Okay. It is definitely not hopefully coordinated because we are not being hopeful about something over here. Deliberately, what is the meaning of deliberate? Deliberate means intentional. Okay, so intentionally. So it is often coordinated, but it is not deliberately coordinated, not the right usage. Purposely is again intentionally. Okay, so the both are to do with intentionally, so they are not the right option. Invariably, what is the meaning of invariably? Invariably is an adverb, and the meaning of invariably is in every case, okay, or on all occasions. Okay, so it is, what it is trying to say is, however, desires and actions are not invariably coordinated, as in they are not always coordinated. Okay, so the right answer will be option number 1 invariably coordinators. That is the hard one, I think. Okay. So I hope you have understood till here. So they are talking about desire. We are talking about desires and action, and we first started with the introduction. Started with actions and desire being coordinated, often coordinated, not always coordinated. Then we talk about that if P desires to do X, if P is seen to do X, then P desires X. It is often assumed this way. However, that means we are talking about a contradiction. However, it is not always true. Okay, now we will see examples how it is not always true. Okay, the person may desire X without dash in, okay, I'll go to the next. Okay, the person may desire X without dash in any action directed towards the attainment of X. Okay. So it is talking about again P being the person. P may desire X without dash in any action directed towards the attainment of X. Okay, so it might do something, or it might do that work even without having any interest in the attainment of X. This is what is the gist of it. Okay, so let's look at the right answer to it, right option, which right word for the blank. Okay, so the person may desire X without wanting in any action directed towards, no, it is not a suitable answer. It is not talking about wanting it. Okay, so one is not without associating. Again, it has already associated it with X. P has already associated it with X by doing X. Okay, by trying to do X. So it is not associating. Engaging in X. Now engaging, what is the meaning of engaging? Engaging is involving in something, right? Right? So is it engaging in something? Yes, without engaging in any action directed towards the attainment of X. Okay, so it is not without even engaging in any action directed towards attainment. Attainment, what is the meaning of attainment? Attainment means, anyone who can tell me the meaning of attainment? It's basically achieving. Alright, so without actions being directed to achieving X. Okay, so it might do the work just like that without engaging into the interest of achieving it. Alright, let's go on to the next. Yes, this is a little complicated. I can see you guys struggling with it a little, but try, okay? Try to first get the meaning of the entire passage, and then till wherever we have done, at least I hope it is clear till there. Let's go on to the next. We have 5 more to go. We have actually 6 more to go, and then we will see what it actually means. So till here, I think whatever I have covered is clear. What is the passage trying to say? It is talking about desire and action. Alright. Now, so it says that, till here it says that the person may do a work without having an interest in achieving that work. Okay. Now, this event happens when X appears dash, or when the other effects resulting from the action. Okay, this happens when X appears dash. Okay, so when do we not try to attain something? That is what we are talking about. When do we not try to attain something? Let's look at the options. So we have when X appears manageable. When it appears manageable, that means we can manage it. So what is the fuss about it? So right, it is definitely not option 1. When X appears valuable, when something appears valuable or you see a value in it, you will definitely try to do it. So it is not option 2. Unattainable, Yes, okay, something that is unattainable. We have spoken about attainment here, and it is unattainable when it is not something which you can reach for. Okay, something that is not something that is like a pie in the sky we discussed. So yes, when something is unattainable, then we try to not, that is when we stop probably desiring for it. Okay, and fourth one is reachable, which is not the answer. So the right answer is option number 3. So fifth one was pretty evident, very clear. And the effect, okay, when it is unattainable, or when the other effects resulting from the action dash to attain X are sufficiently undesirable. Okay, so it can be either of the case. It is saying either it is that it is unattainable, or the other option, that the other reason why there is no desire to attain X is because effect resulting from the action dash to attain X are sufficiently undesirable. Okay, so resulting from the action, hostile, will it be the right option? What is the meaning of hostile? It means showing or feeling opposition. Or dislike. Okay, so that is a hostile situation where someone is feeling threatened, or feeling opposition, or someone is showing opposition. So we usually say hostile situation. Yes, so this is not the it cannot be hostile when the situation is hostile, or when the effects are hostile. It cannot be the effects are hostile. When it is necessary, why would you not want to do it? Okay, so it is not option number 2 as well. Or is it? Okay, so incidental, is it? Let's leave this option like that. Okay, option number 3 is incidental. Now what is the meaning of incidental? Incidental is happening as a result of. So, or when the other effects resulting from, it is already written resulting from, so it cannot be incidental. Okay, because it is happening as a result of. And fourth option is insensible. What is the meaning of insensible? When something is done without mental faculties, without having to do with anything with the brains. So someone who has acted insensibly, we say he has acted without thinking or without applying his brains. Okay, so insensible. Alright, so resulting from the action, insensible to attain X? No, it cannot be. So necessary to attain X are sufficiently undesirable. Okay, so the other effects, whatever the other effects are, if it is resulting from the action, whatever action that we are doing, whatever the effects are from that action, it is necessary to attain X, that are necessary to attain X are sufficiently. So the other action, it might be sufficiently undesirable, or it can be something that is unattainable. Okay, yes, insensible is nonsense is nonsensical. Yes, nonsensical will be something that is when you speak out of without applying your sense to it. Yes, so without using mental faculties, when you say something is insensible, yes, nonsense is also, nonsensible would be a better answer. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Okay, so we have done till here sufficiently undesirable. Action necessary to attain X are sufficiently undesirable as to dash the desire of X. As to dash the desire for X. Okay, sufficiently undesirable compared to, we are comparing the desire for the effect of the resulting action is sufficiently undesirable as to compared to the desire for X. So something, the action that comes out of X, let's say once someone, let's say P, when it does a work X, the action that are resulting from X or emerging from X, maybe these are what it says is not desirable, something that the person does not want, P does not want, or it can be compared to, so it does not want, maybe the action that comes out is a lot, something that it does not desire as compared to X, so it is not worth desiring for X is what it is trying to say. Okay, so as to express the desire for X, yes, you guys are right, it is appreciate, sorry, accept, yes, I'm so sorry, to express the desire for X. What is the meaning of appreciate? Appreciate means applaud someone, reciprocate is again respond to, and damage, I'm sure you know the meaning of damage. So the right answer will be express, as to express the desire for X. Okay. Now, seventh one, yes, all of you got it right. The apt or the suitable answer would be option number 1, which is express. Right. Let's go on to the 8th question now. Let's quickly go through the 8th statement. After that, what it says, sometimes, of course, no action is necessary. The desire may or may not be dash quite independently of P's action. Okay, so the desires may or may not be dash quite independently of P's action. So the desire may not just be because of P's action. Okay, it may or may not be just independent of P's action. Okay, so let's look at the option. Okay, so we have realized, we have hypothesized, we have verbalized, we have criticized. What is the meaning of hypothesized? It just means put something forward as a hypothesis. Okay, so if I'm putting and what is a hypothesis? Hypothesis. Hypothesis is a supposition which is based on limited evidence. Okay, so if I'm putting a hypothesis, are we talking about a hypothesis? No. The desire may or may not be hypothesized quite independently. No. Verbalized is expressing in words, right? And fourth is criticize, which means condemn. So may or may not be realized quite independently of P's actions. So the right answer will be realized. That means the desire may or may not quite become aware, or P might quite become fully aware of its action. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Some of you are saying the paragraph has become quite complicated just because of using X and P. Also because we have X, P and desire and action. Okay, so there are 4 things that we have been talking about, and sometimes the paragraph is replacing P with a person, and sometimes we are talking about X as desire or the actions emerging from X. So that's why it is a little complicated. So it is very important that you understand each and every line to get to the next question. Okay, so yes, concentrate. Okay. Next one, 9th one. Furthermore, a given desire may lead to different actions depending upon the environmental requirements. Okay. So furthermore, it is saying a given desire may lead to different actions depending upon the environmental requirements. So whatever the desire is, it may lead to different sort of actions. It might not result in the same action, it might lead to different action depending on the environmental requirements. Okay, now actions are dash not only by desire but also by the way the person, okay, so it is talking about how the action are affected or influenced. It is not only by desire. Okay, action, we are talking about how it is, let's see, how it is what, how it is projected. Actions, we are not talking about projecting actions in a certain way. Okay, we are talking about how actions are determined. Okay, what is the meaning of determined? It means cause to occur. Cause to occur. Okay, actions are controlled not only by desires. Okay, so actions, no, it will be the actions, we are not talking about controlling the action. Okay, we are not talking environment also does not control the action. We are talking about action, how is it determined. Okay, how do we come to know, or how does it occur? It does not just occur because of desires, it can occur because of the environment as well. Okay, so it cannot be controlled. Last option is galvanized. What is the meaning of galvanized? It means shock or excite into taking action. Okay, so it cannot be actions are galvanized not only by, we are not talking about shocking the action or how actions are forced into being. Okay, so yes, it will be, the right answer will be option 2. Like I said, why it can't be controlled, because we are not talking about a situation where we are supposed to put boundaries on actions. We are not talking about a situation where we are supposed to control the action. Actions may emerge from. Okay, so we are talking about how are actions determined, how do we get to know where the action is coming from. Okay, so it will be determined and not controlled. Okay, but also by the way, by the person dash the causal structure of the environment. Okay, last one, actions are determined not only by desire but also by the way the person dash the causal structure of the environment. Okay, so it is not just determined by the person but how the person sees the structure of the environment. Okay, so yes, how the person sees the causal structure of the environment. Okay, it cannot be downgrade, because downgrade means reduce something's level. Okay, so person does not reduce the level of the environment. We are not talking about fabricating, because it means fabrication means invent in order to deceive someone. Okay, so develops, again, not a person cannot develop an environment. Okay, so the right answer will be option number 4, that is sees, how the person sees the environment. Okay, tough one, but I think we sailed through. If you guys have understood, well and good. If you still have doubts, well, I tried my best to explain it, and I think most of you got it. Okay, so that is it for the SSC session today. We have discussed all the questions that were a little complicated or something that I thought you all should discuss. Yes, done with them. Alright, so that is it for this session. We will resume this session after in a while. Okay, the bank PO session. Alright, so see you guys in some time. Take a break, come back, have your snacks and come back. Alright, see you guys. Hello everyone, welcome back to the live session on SBI PO mains. We discussed SSC before this, tier 1, SSC CGL tier 1, and now we are going to discuss questions of mock tests that happened last week on SBI PO mains. Okay, so without further delay, let's get started. Okay. Okay, so now we will start with, since we have avoided passages for a very long time, today we are going to discuss one of the passages. So this is the passage that is given below. You are supposed to read the passage and then answer the questions. Okay, so I will give you 2 minutes of time, quickly go through the passage. However, it is better to start with the questions first and then come back to the passage. But for now, let's just look at the passage once, give it a quick read, and then we will start talking about the, we'll start discussing the questions. Alright? Okay, let me go through it with you. The subject good governance is both topical and timely. It is an axiom of political science that a state comes into being for life, but it exists for good life. The duty of the state is not only to protect life and liberty, but goes further to enable the people to live in a measure of physical and mental comfort. Democracy is a government by the citizens themselves. The people should realize that they are responsible for choosing the right and proper person to represent them in national affairs. In colonial administration, the government was different from the people. The governments ruled, but without the consent and concurrence of the people. This old concept still persists in the masses today. They do not realize that the general election is the occasion for them to choose a government for themselves. On the contrary, the masses feel that the franchise is a patronage to be conferred on their kith and kin, or the local candidate, or one of their caste and religion fraternity. In mature democracy, a person who changes his party affiliation or crosses the floor seldom gets re-elected by the electorate. They do not trust him to stand firm by the policies and programs proposed by him. In India, a person who was in the Congress government was immediately thereafter in the Janta government, and then in Chandrasekhar government was re-elected and came once again into the Congress government. Okay, so this is the passage. Now, so what is the passage talking about? Let's understand the gist of the passage. The passage is talking about democracy and how it works. Okay, so it also covers that people still think that they do not have the power to choose the right person. So they choose the wrong person and then they blame the party, or blame him for being corrupt. Okay, so they choose the corrupt person and then cry about it that they have chosen a corrupt person. So it is talking about how the power is in the hands of the public, or in the hands of the people who choose the party to, or who chooses the candidate to become the person who will be governing the entire country. Okay, so it talks about how people have still the same mentality. People still do have the same mentality as the colonial government when they did not have the power. People were governed that time as well, but they did not have the power or to any control or say over what is going on in the state affairs or the affairs of the country. Okay, so this is the passage. Let's go on to the questions quickly. Let's see what the questions are. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, there's more. Let's finish it fast. The electorate votes for a criminal or a corrupt candidate and bemoans that the country has a bad government. The electorate does not realize that even as it contributes to its own household expenditure, it has to contribute to the country's governance. It is easily misled by the unscrupulous promises of the political parties of free food, free clothes, free electricity, free everything. Even enlightened people plead for tax concessions, subsidies and incentives, oblivious of the fact that they are met by borrowing, which in turn imposes burden indirectly on themselves. Besides, in a true democracy, the people voluntarily observe the laws, rules and regulations as they are forged them by themselves in the interest of the good governance or of good governance. It is only because 90% of the people abide by the law and 10% transgress them that the state is able to maintain order and harmony. If the situation were reversed, with 90% transgressing the law and 10% abiding by it, there can be no organized society, no peace, no harmony. Some of the advanced countries, notably Switzerland, have perhaps the highest degree of compliance. A mere board stating that the road is closed will be complied with by almost 100% of the people. Okay, so this is the passage. Let's go on to the questions. Okay, now the questions are if you understand the passage, and even if you do not understand the passage, the questions that are related to this passage are very, very simple. They are something of common sense sort of questions. Okay, so even if you do not read the passage well, or even if you do not understand the passage well, it is important that you understand the question and answer accordingly. So let's look at the question quickly. Which of the following is supposed to be the most relevant duty of the state? So we are talking about the duty of the state. So the duty of the state, as in the country, what is the person or the party which is in charge of the state, what is their duty? Is it to ensure sovereignty of the region? What is the meaning of sovereignty? Sovereignty or sovereignty is supreme. Okay, I cannot write this one, so over here, supreme power, or it can be authority. Okay, so is it to ensure the supreme power of the region? No. Is it to ensure prosperity of the region? No. It is not to do with sovereignty or prosperity. Okay, it is to look after the welfare of its people, right? Is it to develop better terms with other nations? Is it to develop better terms with other nations? No, absolutely not. That's not the only function. It is the purpose of the state, or the duty of the state, is to look after the welfare of its people. So yes, the answer should be option number 3 and not 1, 2, 4 or 5. Okay, so this is very general. This is something of common sense. Even if you do not read the passage, you will be able to understand that that is the main function of a relevant, or it is the relevant duty of the state. Okay, let's go to the next question. What is the basic difference between democracy and colonial rule? Okay, you understand what is colonial? Colonial rule is a rule of power. Okay, so India was also colonized by the Britishers, and what is the meaning of colonial government? It means yes, the nations which are more powerful, or the nations which are powerful in any sense, powerful, they control the other countries which are less powerful or can be suppressed. Okay, so that is colonial rule. Okay, so what is the basic difference between democracy and colonial rule? Again, something which is very general question. You do not have to read the passage for it. In a democracy, people's will prevails, whereas in a colonial rule, rulers will prevail. Yes, what is the meaning of prevail? Anyone who can give me the meaning of the word prevail? Okay, so prevail just means whichever proves more powerful, okay, or superior. So in democracy, do people are people more powerful and they are the superior ones, or the rulers are the superior ones? Of course, in democracy, we know something about democracy, that democracy is rule of the people, for the people, and by the people. So we have studied this a lot. And again, interesting thing about democracy, the word itself says a lot. Okay, it has come from the combination of two words, demos and cracy. Okay, cracy means, the suffix cracy means rule. Okay, so anything that has cracy, like democracy, autocracy, bureaucracy, plutocracy, all these words are from the word, the meaning of the word suffix cracy is rule. Okay, and demos, we have always studied, demos means people. Okay, so that's why when we understand the word, the compilation of the word, it means rule of the people, for the people, and by the people. Okay, so yes, in democracy, people prevail, not the ruler. Okay, so in democracy, people prevail. So we don't need to look at other options. The first answer, first one is the right answer. Let's go to the next question. If the people want to have a responsible government in a democracy, if the people, okay, so the condition is, if they want to have a responsible government in democracy, what should they do? Okay, so they must call for free and fair election, or they should take charge of the elections. They should elect desirable candidates. They should look for single party rule. And the fifth option is, they should elect educated and experienced representative. Now, if the people want to have a responsible government, if they want to have a responsible government, what it is said that if in democracy, they should they ask for free and fair elections? No, it is already free and fair. Okay, elections are free and fair. The power rests in the hands of the people. So when they are voting, they must choose the candidate who they desire for. Okay, and not fall in the trap of if we go back, you will see that it talks about the election votes for a criminal, the electorate votes for the criminal or a corrupt candidate, and then it complains about bad government. Okay, so what they should do, they should elect someone who is desirable and not fall into the trap of free food and free whatever. They offer a lot of free things and not fall into those traps. So someone who they desire for, or someone they want to see as or someone who they think is honest and should be or is most apt for the job, they should select that. So the right answer is 3. They should elect educated and experienced representatives. Yes, but that is not mentioned in the paragraph. From the passage, we understand that we are talking about candidates who they desire for, who the electorates they desire for. They should select those candidates. Alright, I hope it is clear why it is option number 3 and not 5, because in the passage it is clearly mentioned that we should not fall for the traps that they lay. We should still go ahead and vote for people who we desire for. Okay. All right. So this is something of, after so many questions, we have something which is directly related to the passage. Okay. Correlate with given paragraph. To this paragraph, shouldn't we correlate with the given paragraph? Yes, that's what I'm saying. Till here, it was all general. Okay, so without even looking at the paragraph, you could understand what will be the obvious choice. But here, we will get confused if we do not read the passage. You will get confused whether it will be option number 3 or option number 5, because both talk about the candidate being, both are required, right? The candidate being very educated and highly experienced, as well as someone you desire. So in the passage, there is clearly examples given where it talks about that you should always go for people who you desire for, and not the people who promise you a lot of things. Okay? Not the party which promises a lot of things. Okay? Yes, guys, the class has already started for SBI PO. Alright. Let's go on to the next question. Why does a person changing his party find it hard to get re-elected in mature democracy? Now this question is also directly taken from the passage. Let's go back to the passage. Yes, the last few lines. In mature democracy, a person who changes his party affiliation across the floor seldom gets re-elected. Okay, and why does it happen? They do not trust him to stand firm by his policies and programs proposed by him. Okay, so since he changes his party, they lose faith in him. That's what is said. So let's look at the options. Why do they not trust him? Because political parties suspect his fidelity. What is the meaning of the word fidelity? It means faithfulness of a person. Okay, so fidelity is how faithful the person is. So is it because the political parties suspect his fidelity, as in his faithfulness? No, it is not because of the party. It is in democracies, the voting rights is not to the parties, it is in the hands of the people. So it is not the right answer. Next, because he loses his image in the political circle. No, again, it is not about the political circle, because his eligibility for fighting elections gets questioned, or because he has to depend upon the stand of his new party. So which one is the right answer? None of these. Okay, because none of these talk about why he is not re-elected, because it is clearly mentioned in the passage that he is not re-elected because they do not trust him to stand firm by his policies and programs. They think that he can fluctuate anytime. Okay, so because he's not sure of the party, so he might as well not be sure about his decisions or the programs or the policies that he's making. Okay, so that's why the answer should be none of these. Okay, eligibility is not questioned. So this brings us, it was a pretty easy passage. I think most of you must have found it very easy. If you didn't find it easy, well, you should start reading a lot more. Okay, I hope it is clear till here. All the options were very, very obvious. Only 2 questions out of all the questions, only 2 questions were directly related to the passage. So without even looking at the passage, you can actually go ahead and start solving the question. If you think that something is related to the passage, or you are having ambiguity in between 2 options, then what you are supposed to do is you are supposed to go back to the passage and skim through it quickly and see where the right answer is. In reading comprehension, you do not have to, everything is taken right from the passage, so there is no other reference. Okay, so make sure that you go to the question first. If you do not, if it is a general question, like we had so many general questions, then you do not have to go to the passage. If you find you are being ambiguous about something, if there are two options seems right, both the options seems right, then you go back to the passage, you skim through it quickly and come back and give the right answer. Alright, that is about the questions. Let's go ahead with the meaning of the words. Okay, concurrence. So what is the meaning of concurrence? Concurrence, we had it in the passage where it said, those government ruled but without the consent and concurrence of the people. So without consent and concurrence. So what is the meaning of concurrence? Concurrence is a noun and it means permission. Okay, it means permission. And which one is closest to permission? Is it satisfaction? No. Agreement? Yes. Participation? No. Dependence? No. Loyalty? No. Okay, so the answer is option number 2. Let's go to the next word. Choose. Okay, fraternity. What is the meaning of fraternity? Fraternity means a group of people sharing a common profession. Okay, sharing a common profession. It can be a profession or interest as well. Okay, so that group is called a fraternity. I'm sorry, that group is called a fraternity. Okay, so let's look at the option. Is it just group? What kind of group are we talking about? We are talking about a specific group where everyone's profession is the same or their interest is the same. So is it society? No. Is it groups? No. Vague. It is very vague. It's a weaker synonym. Background? It cannot be background. Ethnicity? What is the meaning of ethnicity? It usually means the fact or state of belonging to a social group. Okay, so when someone belongs to a social group, their ethnicity is to that group. Okay, that has probably a common nation or a common cultural tradition is ethnicity. Yes. And finally, the fifth option is brotherhood. Yes, the right answer is option number 5, brotherhood. Okay, fraternity is very close to brotherhood. Brotherhood is again people coming together or people sharing the same interest is called a brotherhood. It's called a brotherhood. All right. So the right option will be option number 5. Let's go on to the next one. So now you have to choose whichever is the most opposite in meaning as the word given in bold as used in the passage. Okay, so next word that we have is bemoan. Now, bemoan is very perfect synonym for bemoan is lament. Okay, you will keep, this is a very commonly used word. You will keep seeing this word very often. So remember it. Lament and bemoan means the same. Okay, so it basically means to moan about something, to weep about something, to be sad about something. Okay, or to criticize something is lament. Okay, so the options are laud, accept, approve, weep, debate. Okay, so it cannot be debate, it cannot be approve. We are not talking about approving, so it has to be something which has to do with praising, because lament is criticizing or whining about something. It is crying about something, weeping about something. So this is a synonym. It cannot be accept. Laud. What is the meaning of the word laud? It means exactly opposite to this, praise or hail or applaud is the meaning of Lord. So the right answer is option number 1, Lord. Yes. Again, these words are very, very easy words. You can understand from the context that it is used itself. I am sure that you understood till here. Next word is also a very easy word, something that comes very often. You will see this word appearing very often, okay? Oblivious. So what is the meaning of oblivious? Oblivious means something that is unknown, okay? Okay, so for example, if I have to give you an example of oblivious, we can make we can say that the actress was oblivious to the smudged lipstick on her face, and the paparazzi made full use of it. So what it means is that the actress had no idea or no clue about the smudged lipstick on her face, and the paparazzi, as in the media, made full use of it, and they clicked a lot of pictures so that they can probably talk about it in the newspaper, okay? Yes, we have a movie called Oblivion as well, an English movie, and again, it all means unknown, okay? So let's get back. What will be the obvious of unknown? Something that is known, something that people are aware of, right? So it cannot be veteran. You understand what is the meaning of a veteran? Veteran means someone who's very experienced and has grown old in the field, okay, with experience, okay? So it cannot be veteran, it cannot be arguing. We are not talking about an argument. Are we talking about expert? Again, veteran and expert is the same, so these are not the orator is someone who orates, so again, not the right answer. The only one that is opposite of oblivion is someone who's aware of something. Yes, being aware of something is the right answer. So the right answer is option number 4. Alright. So that is about the opposites of, we have done discussed the passage. Sorry, main exam has 1 slot or multiple slot. Okay. We will come to that later. So that brings us at the end of this passage. The questions are to deal with what are the questions. We discussed the questions as well as the synonyms and antonyms that are to do with the passage. Okay. Let's move on to the next section. An orator is someone who speaks, okay, speaks in front of an audience, okay, anyone who has to do with, yes, orator has to do with oral, okay, anything that has to do with speaking is an orator, a speaker, yes. Alright. Any other questions related to the passage? I hope not. If not, let's go on to the next section. Okay, let's go to the next section. Now what do we have here? We have, you are supposed to rearrange the following 6 sentences A, B, C, D and E in the proper sequence to form a meaningful paragraph. So yes, you are supposed to, what you are supposed to do, you are supposed to rearrange this into a meaningful paragraph. Again, parajumbles we will be doing, okay? So let's look at the question. And now this one we have to arrange it in the proper sequence. We have to do all of it because unlike the SSC paper, we do not have options with different combination given to it. So you cannot be clever over here. You have to rearrange everything. Okay, so let's start. Economic historians have famously called this divergence. So it cannot be the starting statement. Okay, we are talking about some divergence. Okay, let's look at the next question. Over the years, many of them have also put forward, okay, many of them, we are again talking about someone, okay, we are using a pronoun here, them. So this one is also not relevant to the and cannot be the first option. C, until the Industrial Revolution of the late 18th century, much of the world enjoyed similar standards of living that barely kept people from dying of starvation. Okay, so yes, this looks like an introductory paragraph, introductory statement, sorry. So let's consider C as the introductory statement. In other words, most of the world was equally poor until the Industrial Revolution pushed some countries onto the path of high economic growth while others were left behind in abject poverty. What is the meaning of abject? It means maximum poverty, maximum degree of something. Okay, so okay, in other words, that means we are using another way of saying the same thing. So these two look like they are talking about first till the 18th century. What it is saying that everyone enjoyed similar standard of living, but what happened, Industrial Revolution came into picture. So because of Industrial Revolution, some countries were pushed to the path of high economic growth. Okay, so the next option will be option D. Okay, now so we have got two of it. CD is a link. Yes, it is a mandatory pair, okay, because we are using in other words just to talk about the same thing. Okay, now some countries were pushed to left behind in abject poverty. Now what happened after that? Let's see what happens after that. So option E is, in particular, it was countries in Western Europe like England that witnessed rapid improvement in the living standards of their people. Alright, this also looks, CDE is in proper, if you read it, it looks like it is following a proper pattern. Okay, so in particular it is talking about which countries. Here some countries we have mentioned. Now E talks about which countries. So in particular it was countries in the Western Europe like England, okay, that witness rapid improvement in the living standards of their people. Okay, so next we have is E. Now after that the right, now we have only two options left. Let's see which one is the next one. Over the years, many of them have also put forward a variety of theories to, okay, many of them, again we are not sure who we are talking about them here. Economic historians have famously called this divergence, okay, we are talking about this divergence, the divergence, Industrial Revolution divergence, okay, this divergence. Yes, so A is the next option, and finally we have B, because again them is over here is referring to the economic historians. So the order will be C, D, E, A, B. Okay, C, D, E, A, B. Yes, that will be the right order for the parajumble, for this parajumble. Pretty easy. It was very something that was very obvious, okay, because we got C, D, E in line, one after the other, right after the other. Okay, so let's see which one is the third sentence, which one is the third statement. E is the third statement, so option number 4 is the right answer. Which of the following should be the fifth sentence after rearrangement? So fifth, the last statement should be option 1, B. Which of the following should be the second? So we had the order C, D. Okay, let me just write the order once again. C, D, E, A, B. Okay, so which one is the second? Second we have D, so option 5 is the right answer. Yes, it is very easy. Which of the following is the first one? So first is C. Which of the following should be the fourth one? Fourth sentence after rearrangement. Fourth one is 1, 2, 3, 4, option A. So again, first is the right answer. So I don't think there is any thing that you guys might have found difficulty or got stuck in this one, because it is you can clearly see the link or the the chain or the cycle it follows. Okay, so yes, let's go to the next type of question. Okay, now what are you supposed to do over here? In each of the questions given below, a sentence is given with one blank. Below each sentence, 4 words are given, out of which 2 can fit the sentence. 5 options are given with various combinations of these words. You have to choose the combination with the correct set of words which can fit in the given sentence. So you have been given 4 options, and 2 out of the 4 options will fit into, so we are looking for synonyms. Okay, 2 options out of the 4 options given will be apt for the blank that is given, will suit the blank that is given. Okay, so let's start the first one. For long, scientists have been dashed by the fact that long strands of DNA apparently have no real function. Okay, so we are talking about scientists being something, have been something. Okay, by the fact they have been something by the fact that long strands of DNA, okay, apparently have no real function. Okay, so we are talking about scientists being either what can be the reaction if such a long strand of DNA has no work. Okay, if you find something which is huge but is of no use, what will you think about it? You will probably be, what will you be about it? Okay, so let's look at what can the scientists be about it. Okay, they have been astonished. You cannot be shocked by the fact, can you? Yes, you can. That they have been astonished. Yes, shocked. Okay, so A can be one of the option. They have been puzzled. Again, it has to do with surprise or shock. So B can also be the one. They cannot be confused, because what is the meaning of confused? Confused means unable to think clearly. Alright, so it can, scientists are not unable to, it's not that scientists are unable to think clearly. So C is not the option. They are not doubtful about it. So the right combination will be A and B. So 1 is the right answer. This was also pretty easy. We are talking about scientists being shocked or surprised by the fact that such long strands of DNA have no work at all. Okay, so the words that we will be using are astonished as well as puzzled. B and C, my God, they are not confused. Like I said, someone who's confused is someone who's unable to think clearly. Okay, if I say I'm confused about the answer, that does not mean I'm shocked about the answer, I'm not surprised about the answer. I'm not able to think and come to a decision. I'm confused. Okay, no, puzzled is okay. Puzzled, let's use it in a sentence. I was puzzled by the fact that he wore his shirt inside out and was able to go through his entire day without anyone questioning him. So I was puzzled. I was confused, but it is more of a shock or a surprise. Okay, so that's why not confused. Like I am discussing, guys, why it is not confused, because confused is to unable to come to a decision, unable to come to a conclusion, unable to it is not to do with shock or surprise. It is more to do with unable to think clearly. Okay, puzzle means hard. No, it does not mean hard, guys. It means something that okay, this problem has been puzzling me. That does not mean that the problem has been hard for me. It means that I am trying to get the right answer, but I'm not able to get it right. Okay, so it will not be confused, it will be puzzled. Okay, they are synonyms. Puzzle and confuse are synonyms, but they are far off synonyms. Okay, puzzle has more to do with surprise or being shocked, and confusion has more to do with not able to make a decision or come to a conclusion. Okay, or able to think in an appropriate or a clear manner. I hope you guys got it. So the right option will be option A and option B. Okay. Okay, next one. Let's move on to the next one. Influential corporate groups have dashed the judiciary's independence. Okay, so what are we talking about here? We are talking about influential corporate groups. Influential corporate groups have something to the judiciary's independence. So what have they done to the influential, as in powerful? We are talking about powerful corporate groups. They have done something with the judiciary's independence, as in judiciary being independent of the other bodies. Okay. Okay. Have they distorted? What is the meaning of distort? Make something out of shape or twist something out of shape. Okay. So distort a picture, distort an evidence. It can be any. It can be, the usage can be either literal or it can also be related to a quality. Okay. Next, curved. I don't need to tell you what is a curved surface or what is the meaning of curved. What is the meaning of falsified? It means alter so to mislead. Okay. And melted, I'm sure you all understand what is melting. Ice melts. Okay, so they have not melted, or something that when heat is provided goes into, from solid state goes into the liquid state. Okay, so it is not melted. Have they curved? They have not curved. So if you just strike out these two options, there are only two options left. So you don't even have to put a lot of effort. You don't even have to know the meaning of distorted and falsified. You just have to cancel out the weaker link. If you cancel out the weaker link, you get option A and C. So fourth option is the right answer. So this is what you do, guys. If you do not, since there are two words that are supposed to be the meaning, or are can be used or suitable for the given blank, what you can do is you can just find out the weaker link if you do not know the meaning of all the words. So you can just find out the weak links. Weak links are the words that are are very weak in relation with the statement given. Okay, so you can find out the weaker link, and then you have, because the chances and the possibility of, it is like playing KBC 50-50, that option that you get. So this is very simple. Okay, so you just take out the weaker link and you are left with the two options. Those two options are the right answer. Okay, the probability increases over here of you being right. Alright, let's go on to the next question. As the consequences of the historic press conference of the 4 senior most judges, okay, historic, something that was epic, something that was a very big event, press conference of 4 senior most judges of the Supreme Court play out. Okay, what is the meaning of play out? It is not in literal sense. This is a phrase, and the meaning of this phrase is develop in a particular way. Okay, so as the consequences of the historic press conference of the 4 senior most judges of the Supreme Court play out, as in develop, a constant dash that has been heard is of the need to resolve difference internally. Okay, so because of this press conference that the four senior most judges had, something happened as a consequence of this press conference. So something must have happened because of which what they have come to the conclusion is that it is has been heard is of the need to resolve. So what is the conclusion? There is a need to resolve difference internally. So there has been a difference. Okay, so let's look at the words, the options that we have. The options that we have is option A, forego. What is the meaning of forego? It is a verb, and the meaning of forego is to go without. Okay, so the synonyms that can go with forego is very important. Synonyms that we have is renounce as well as surrender. Okay, so quit something or renounce something or abjure something. Okay, so that is the meaning of forego. Okay, second option that we have is refrain. What is the meaning of refrain? Refrain means I think we have discussed this word, refrain from drinking alcohol. Like I said before, I gave you a sentence also. I'll still just quickly write down the meaning of the word. Refrain oneself from doing something. Okay, refrain oneself from doing something. So that is the meaning of stop oneself from doing something. That is the meaning of refrain. Okay, okay, and what is abstain? Is restrain. Again, abstain oneself from doing something. Same, the meaning of abstain and refrain is almost the same. They are synonyms. Okay, all right, and stop is another word. Okay, now so let's look at the options once again. A constant dash that has been heard, a constant refrain that has been heard is of the need to resolve differences internally. Okay, a constant abstain that has been heard is of the need to. So the right answer will be option B and option C. Not forego, go without. They are not trying to quit, okay, or not trying to stop. They are trying to refrain from being heard. Okay, yes, they are need to refrain from resolving. They need to resolve differences. Restrain is refrain. Restrain is more of to do with controlling, okay, and refrain is avoiding. Okay, so that is a little difference. Again, like I said, they are synonyms. They are not the complete same thing. Okay, he was restrained from going out, okay, or he was refrained or he refrained from going out. Okay, so that means refrain is he avoided going out, and he was restrained from going out is someone stopping him from going out. All right, so the right option is option 2, B and C. All right, let's go on to the next one. For the BJP, while winning the state may not be very dash to its overall dominance at present, losing it may have ominous significance. I think we discussed the word omen, and from omen comes ominous. Okay, all right. Let's look at the sentence. What is the meaning of okay, for the BJP, while winning the state, let's look at the meaning of this statement. For the BJP, for the BJP, while winning the state may not be very dash to its overall dominance at the present. Okay, so winning is not just, it's not very important is what it is trying, but losing, it may have an ominous significance. It may be ominous significance, meaning, what is the meaning of ominous? Okay, let me just write it down. Giving the worrying impression. Okay, giving the worrying impression that something bad is going to happen. Okay, so what the sentence is trying to say is that winning is might not be something that is very important for its overall dominance for BJP, but losing might have a worrying impression about how BJP is going to probably do in the future. Okay, so what are the options? Let's look at the option. Urgent. Okay, winning the state might not be very urgent. Okay, we are not talking about urgency to do something. Okay, we are talking about how important it is. Is it important or not? So yes, essential is one of the option. It cannot be deciding. State may not be very deciding to its overall. Okay, winning this state might not be very deciding. No, again, we are not talking about whether winning is a decisive thing or not. We are talking about, is it crucial? Is it important? Is it essential? So the right options will be option B and option D. Yes, so the fifth option is the right answer. Alright. I think it is clear till here. Yes, B and D is the right answer. So if it is clear till here, I think we can move on to the next question. Yes, let's move on to the next question. Okay, quickly let's go to the next question. The process of dash legislation for road safety has been in the making for the past 4 years. Now, what is the meaning of this statement? First of all, I am sure that all of you understand what is legislation. Legislation is nothing but laws that are considered collectively. Okay, so a compilation of laws is legislation. Okay, the process of legislation for road safety. Okay, the process of making laws of probably we can fill it with making laws with of legislation for of road safety has been in the making. It means has been in the process of coming to light or process of coming to existence for the past 4 years. That means it has been going on for a long time and there has been no finished product yet or finished law yet. Okay, so let's look at the option. Is it suggesting, the process of suggesting legislation? No, we are not talking about suggesting. Are we talking about announcing? Yes, we can be talking about announcing because it has been in the making for a long time, so we are still waiting for it to be announced. Yes. Are we talking about introducing legislation for road safety? Yes, we are talking about either announcing or introducing legislation for road safety. Yes, so the answer will be either B or C. So the right answer is option number 3, B or C. Okay. Alright, so this was pretty simple. I think very few confusion, only the confusion was with confusion and puzzle. Rest of the questions went very smooth. If you have any doubts in this section, please come forward and type out your doubt. If you do not have any doubt, let's move forward to the next type. Okay. How CD? CD? How CD? Yes. We just discussed. Guys, pay attention. It has to be announcing or introducing, because we are still talking about that. Like I said, legislation is a collection of laws. So we are talking about legislation of road safety. Has not come into the, it has been in the process of coming into existence for a very long time. So we are waiting for it to be announced or introduced. Okay. Let's go to the next question. Next type of question, in fact. Okay, now what we are supposed to do in the given questions, there is a sentence given which is divided into 5 parts labeled as A, B, C, D, E. There will be grammatical errors in any 2 parts of the sentence. From the options, choose the pair which contains errors. Now again we have been given again we have been given the same thing that we are supposed to. Now again our chances is 50-50. It is very easy this way. Okay, these are the easy type, because you do not have error in one part of the statement, you have error in 2 parts of the statement. So the chances of finding out the error is high. Okay, so let's quickly go to the question. Okay. A ruling by South Africa's Constitutional Court at Friday. Okay, at Friday. There is the error. We don't even have to go to the next section. We usually use for days of the month. What do we use? On we use for the days of the month. Sorry, days of the week. We use in for months of the year, and for the year as well. Okay, and then we use at for time. So at 6 o'clock, at 7 o'clock. Okay, so the error is in part A, where it should be on Friday, December 29th, that Parliament should putting in place a mechanism for Jacob Zuma's removal in a judicial setback for the president. Okay, so one that we are sure that the error is either in one or 2. None of the other option should be available here. So now here we have ruling by South Africa's Constitutional Court at on Friday, December 29, that Parliament should putting in place. Now, is this the right word that should be here? What is the right form that we will use of put, of this verb? We will put. Okay, put should be the right form, not putting. Okay, so the error is in option A and option C. So C is option 2 is the right answer. All right. Now this is a whole passage, and there has been we will be doing the same passage. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Now the next question is the potentially premature end to this scandal plagued tenure will, okay, what we have too many words over here, that what is the meaning of premature? Premature is something that occurs, or is something that is done before the usual or the proper time. Okay, so something that happens before the anticipated, or something that is done before the time that it is supposed to be done. So that is the meaning of premature. The potentially premature end to his scandal plagued tenure. Okay, what is the meaning of scandal? Scandal means, it simply means an action or event regarded as morally or legally wrong. Okay, something that causes the general public to outrage. Okay, so outrage among the general public is scandal. Okay, what is the meaning of plagued? Something that causes continuous trouble. Okay, so scandalous and plagued tenure. Okay, so his tenure was very troubling tenure. Will also being okay, so here we have also being a political law for also which form of being we will use? We will use the so in part B, the helping verb being is wrong. Why is it wrong? As the sentence is in the future tense, okay? So we are talking about future and not about the present. So it should be B. Okay, so the error is in B. Okay. And then we have the deputy president, those was elected. Okay, the deputy president, the pronoun that those over here it is used, it is wrong. The deputy president who was elected should be the right answer. Okay, not those. So the right combination will be the error is in option B as well as C. So option 3 is the where the error is. All right. So we are talking about a scandalous tenure of Zuma, okay, Zuma, and the whole error spotting is based on the same article. Okay, so let's go on to the next question. His victory intensified. What is the meaning of intensified? Making something intense. Okay, making something intense. So his victory made intense speculation. What is the meaning of speculation? Okay, making assumptions without, it just means making assumption without firm evidence. Okay, so his victory intensified speculation over, when you do not have a very firm evidence, then speculation over. What did it intensified speculation over? The early exited. Why is it in past tense? The early exit, okay, of the beleaguered Mr. Zuma. Okay, what is the meaning of beleaguered? It is a verb which means lay siege. Lay siege to. Okay, so early beleaguered of Mr. Zuma, who has been embroiled in allegation. What is the meaning of embroiled? Involved deeply. Okay, involved deeply in what? In an, it can be an argument or a difficult situation. So in this case it is, we are talking about a difficult situation. Okay, embroiled in allegation. So his victory intensified speculation over the early exit of the beleaguered Mr. Zuma, who has been embroiled in allegation of high profile corruption that predate their presidential tenure since 2009. We are talking about Mr. Zuma. So how are we using there? We should be using, this is the wrong pronoun that we have used. We should use singular pronoun over here. So the error is in option B as well as C. Okay, B as well as D, I'm sorry. So the error is in option number 5. Yes, so instead of there, what pronoun can be used over here? His. Yes. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Okay. number of Mr. Zuma's supporters to the ANC top executive in last month's organizational poll may have put paid to such hopes. What is the meaning of put paid? It just means finish off. Okay, it is a phrase which means finish off. Put paid to such hopes, even if their populist programs will constricting. Okay, will constricting. Are we using future tense? Okay, so let's look at the, okay, let's first read the whole thing. Will constricting Mr. Ramaphosa's pragmatic approach on the economy before the 2019 popular vote. Okay. Now here the phrase that we are using, by the election of number of Mr. Zuma's, of a number of. And what is the meaning of a number of? A number of, it means in this phrase is missing. Okay, so error is in option A, and again, like I pointed out over here, the verb should be, instead of will constricting, it should be okay, so the error is in option D, A and D. Okay, in parties, what should be the verb that we should use here? Instead of constrict, will constricting, this is the verb. ing form should not be used. We'll have to use will constrict Mr. Ramaphosa's pragmatic approach on the economy before the 2019 popular election. Okay, popular vote. So the error is in option A and D. So first option is the right one. Yes, constrict will be the right option. Yes, constrict will be the right option. Are we clear till here? Let's go on to the next thing that is happening with Mr. Zuma. Okay, most speculators of Mr. Zuma's controversial link involve, okay, the most speculator of Mr. Zuma's controversial link involve, we are not talking about a lot of links, we are talking about, so since we have used links, it should be involves, not involve. Okay, so the error is over here, that it should be involves. Are we going in the right direction? Did I miss something? No, this is absolutely right. Okay, so as the most spectacular of Mr. Zuma, most spectacular, we are using, out of the many spectacular links that he has, we are talking about one of the links. Okay, so it will not be involve, it will be involves. Okay, because we are not talking about, we are talking about one of the links. Okay, so most, that is the superlative degree, that's why we will use involves. Okay, state capture, a cryptic description of the strategic connections between the president's family and the mining and media empire in the now notorious Gupta brothers. Okay, now in the now notorious, which empire are we talking about? The empire of the Gupta brothers. Okay, so there is an error in option D. Can you tell me what the error is? we are talking about an empire, and that is Gupta brothers. So we are not referring to one person. So the usually when we talk about a group or a dynasty, we refer to it as, we use the article, definite article the with it. Okay, so the error is in option A and option D. All right. All right, so now there is an introduction of Gupta brothers. So the yes, of the Gupta brothers, it will not be just Gupta brothers, it will be, we will use the definite articles. So like we talked, the Cholas, we are talking about dynasties, the Cholas, the Guptas, the Aryans. Okay, so we usually, when we are talking about a collective group or a dynasty, then we use the definite article the before it. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Tales of how Guptas concerned lucrative state contracts. What is the meaning of lucrative? Something that produce. Okay. Okay, so tales of how Guptas concerned. Tales of how Guptas cornered lucrative state contracts. Okay, so something that made them a lot of profit and even influenced ministerial appointments in their, okay, now in their adopted home were recounted before the UK House of Lords by veteran anti-apartheid campaigner Peter Hain. Okay, now recent recounted. Okay, how is this in past tense? So the error is over here, adopted home where recent recount. It should not be in the past tense. Recount before. So the error is in C. And the error is tales of how Guptas concerned cornered lucrative state contracts. Okay, now let's look at option A. Again, the Guptas is missing. Okay, so the error is in A as well as C. The same type of error that is here as well, we have seen in option A, and option C we have the error. What is the meaning of apartheid? It means a policy or system of segregation or discrimination. And it is always to do with race. Okay, so very important word. So anti-apartheid is campaigner Peter Hain. So he was against racism, and how he recounted the entire. What is the meaning of recount, by the way? Is it meaning counting again? No, it means tell someone about something. Okay, so he told everyone about, he spoke about anti-racism. He was an anti-racism campaigner. Okay, all right. So the correct option that we that the error is in is option A and option C. So option number 2 is where the error is. All right. So few of the words are a little difficult over here. That's why you might have difficulty in understanding the meaning of or grasping the meaning of a few of the words. But if you see, the error is mostly to do with either past tense or the tenses, or to do with the correct use of article. Okay, so do not fall into the trap of trying to know the word, because the words have been used in a good words have been used. Okay, words that are that are rare. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Finally, a year later in December, The Pretoria High Court ordered Mr. Zuma to act on that recommendation inside a month. Okay, we never say inside a month. This is very clear, this is very evident. You never say inside a month, you say within a month. Okay, to show about inclusion in a month. Okay, within a month, even as it is characterized the delay, as tantamount to. What is the meaning of tantamount? Equal to. Okay, equal to. Tantamount to, disregarding the. Okay, let's look at what, so we have an error over here, option number B, and is there any error in option C? Even as it characterized the delay as tantamount. No, there is no error. Disregarding the ombudsman's constitutional duties. Okay, ombudsman's constitutional duties. Now, where is the error over here? Even to disregarding, again ing is used. Disregard the ombudsman's constitutional duties. Okay, so the error is in B and D. Okay, so the fifth option is where the error is. All right, let's go on to the next question. 2 plus 2 disregard. Yes, very good, Chirama. Okay, so yes, the error is in option B and D. Let's go on to the next question. Perhaps buttress. Okay, what is the meaning of buttress? It is a source of defense. Or support. The prospects for trials on this occasion, Pretoria Court. What is Pretoria? Is the name of a city in South Africa. Okay, Pretoria Court in December ordered the removing of the country's chief prosecutor, a Zuma appointee, handing responsibility to select his successor to the deputy president. Okay, so what has he been doing? He has a supporter. He has been Zuma's appointee, who was the chief prosecutor. Okay, so removing him from the position of the country's chief prosecutor, what have we done? We have handed over the responsibility to the successor to the deputy president. Okay, okay, so perhaps buttress the prospect for trials on. Okay, perhaps buttressing the prospects for trial on. So there is an ing required over here. The correct form of verb is not used. The correct form of verb will be buttressing. Okay, buttressing prospects for trial on. So the error is in option A. Fail to hold Zuma to account for. Okay, this occasion, I'm so sorry. The Pretoria Court in December ordered the removing of the country's chief prosecutor. Okay, now the removing of the country's chief prosecutor. Instead of removing, we have to, this is a verb over here. We have to replace the verb by removal. Okay, which is a noun. Removal of the country's chief prosecutor. Okay, not removing of the chief prosecutor. Yes, so the error is in option A and option C. So 2 is where the error is. All right. Now let's go on to the next question, next set of errors. Let's find out where is the error. The majority ruled the parliament have. Okay, so what do we have here? The majority ruled that parliament is considered to be a singular body. Okay, so parliament It should not be have, it should be has. Okay, so the error is in A. Failed to hold Mr. Zuma to account for the use of millions of rands. What is rand? It is the unit, basic monetary unit of South Africa. Okay, rands of public funds to upgrade his rural home in Kandla in his native province of KwaZulu Natal. Okay. Now, so one error we found out was in the first one. So he is failed to hold Mr. Zuma to account for the use of millions of rands of public funds to upgrade it. Okay, why are we using a past form? To upgrade, it should be upgrade, not upgraded. To upgrade his home in Kandla. Okay, so the error is in option A and option C. 2 is where the error is. All right. Now let's quickly go to the next question. I think this is stretching a lot. Let's quickly go to the next section. Okay. Next one. The latest verdict is a sequel to the court's unanimous 2016 ruling when they held that Mr. Zuma's refusal. Okay. Now, is there any error till here? Is there any error till here? What is the meaning of verdict? Verdict means a decision on an issue or fact. Okay, so the latest decision that has been made is a sequel to the court's unanimous 2016 ruling when they held, again, we are talking about court. Okay, so court is again considered singular. Okay, one, it is considered singular. So we will not use a plural pronoun. Okay, we will use when it held that Mr. Zuma's refusal, so the error is in B, okay, to reimburse the state. What is the meaning of reimburse? It means to repay, okay, to reimburse the state as per the 2014 recommendation of the country's public protector was inconsistency with the constitution. Again, inconsistent with the constitution. We will not use two nouns over here. We have to replace this by using an adjective. Okay, so it was inconsistent with the constitution. So the error is in option B and option D. B and D. So the fifth one is where the error is. Yes. Okay. So this brings us to the end of this long error spotting question where two parts were having errors. And mostly the errors were not to do with it was a lot to do with which tense is used and the pronouns, as well as a little bit to do with the subject verb agreement. Okay, so it should be you should know which part of speech goes well with what. And again, we have done error spotting. We have also had a lot of videos on how to spot errors. This was a very good error spotting question. Okay, so please make sure the standards of the question was good, because it was very confusing here and there. All right, so keep practicing error spotting of something of this sort. Okay, so it was one entire passage where two parts had the error in each statement. Okay, let's go on to the next type. Okay, in each sentence below, a word or group of words have been printed in bold from the 5 answers choice given below each sentence. Pick out the one which can substitute the bold word group of words correctly without changing the meaning of the sentence. Okay, so let's look at the first one. He claims that his proposal is preferable than that of any other employee. Okay, now we are using comparison, than that of. Okay, so his proposal is preferable than that of any other employee. It is absolutely correct. There is no error over here. So we cannot use preferable than for, preferable than, it is always off. Okay, so the error is in there is no correction required. Okay, no correction required. Very easy question. Let's go on to the next question. Okay, the social worker has championed the cause from the weak and oppressed for the last 4 decades. Okay, now what is the meaning of the statement? The social worker has championed the cause from the weak. Okay, cause, which cause are we talking about? The cause of the weak and oppressed, not from the weak and the oppressed. We should be using of. Okay, so has championed, has been championing the cause of, they have not just championed, they have been championing the cause of the weak and oppressed, because we are talking about last 4 decades. Okay, it is not just about last decade. They have been doing it consistently for a long time. So we will use, which form of tense will we use? We will use present perfect continuous tense. Okay, so 1 is the right answer. Yes. Okay, cause of, the usually cause goes with of. Okay, we use cause of. Okay, anyways, next question. Initially the hijackers seemed determined not to submit, but until ultimately they were given in. Okay, they were given. Okay, there is nothing called as they were given. Given is again another phrase which means surrender. Okay, so you must have very interesting example of given is if you have seen the ad of advertisement of a deodorant ad of I'm not sure which brand is that, given to the temptation. Okay, so given means surrender to the surrender. Okay, so let's look at the option. Initially the hijackers seemed determined not to submit, but ultimately they gave in. Okay, so we do not use a supporting verb before the phrase. Okay, so the correct answer is option 2. Not were given, gave in. There should not be a were. Okay, give up is to quit. Okay, give in is to surrender. If you are not able to understand the difference, let's look at the, like I said, given to the temptation, given to something. Okay, given to something. Give up is he gave up halfway. Okay, after trying so hard, right before reaching the success point or the pinnacle of success, he gave up, as in he quit. Okay, so that is the difference between give in and give up. Alright, let's look at the next question. Okay, every one of us must have experienced how, okay, so we must have experienced how have to put up with a good deal of discomfort while traveling. Okay, how we have to put up with a good deal of discomfort while traveling. Okay, good deal of discomfort or with discomfort while traveling. The correct answer will be for this. The phrase goes a good deal with. Okay, how we have to put up with a good deal with discomfort while traveling. Okay, good deal with discomfort, not of discomfort. Okay, so the error is in errors is over there, and the right have to, the right option will be, the right improvement will be have to put up a good deal with. Okay, yes, 3 is the right answer. Let's go to the next one quickly. Disputes are mainly maintained by those who are nothing else to do. Okay, who are nothing else to do or who have nothing else to do. Disputes are mainly maintained, people who have nothing else to do, they maintain, mainly maintained by those, they maintain disputes. Okay, so it will be have nothing else to do. Okay, so the error is over you have to change are to have. Okay, so the right answer will be option 1. Yes, 1 1 1 1 1. Yes, let's go on to the next one. The economic reforms initiated in 1991 have borne fruits. Okay, what is the this is just the past participle form of, can you tell me what? Borne, what is the meaning of borne? It is the past participle form of bear. Okay, so the economic reforms initiated in 1991, they have now borne fruits. Okay, which means they have now given the, or we can see the good deeds of the reformation, or we can see the transformation now. Okay, we can see the results now. Okay, so it is completely fine. There is no error in this question. Okay, so the answer will be no error. Alright, these were very simple. I hope all of you are getting this. Till now, whatever we have done, they not need a lot of explanation. So that's why we are going very, very fast with this. Let's go on to the last question for the day. We will be discussing that and winding up with today's session. Alright, let's go on to the last question quickly. Okay, last one. Our business firms were full aware. Okay, now we all know it is not full aware, it is fully aware. Okay, that means absolutely aware of. Fully aware means absolutely aware. Okay, so they were fully aware of should be the right usage. So it will be option 2. Not full aware of, fully aware of. Okay. Now that brings us to the end of today's session. If you have doubts, please post it on the dashboard and I will look into it, and we will have another doubt clearing session where I will discuss all the other questions. Okay, I hope you guys all your problems and doubts were clarified in this session, and yes, all done, and you made full use of the session. Okay, so good night guys. So hope you have a fruitful evening. Bye, good night. Yes, signing off.